Views expressed by the host on this program documented to be right. Almost always right. 99.7% of the time.
Live from the Southern Command in sunny South Florida, it's Open Line Friday!
And I'm looking at the board up here. We got people who want to talk about the NFL. That's good. We got some... just got some funny news about the NFL. I'll wait till we get to that call to share it with you. We have a question up there on the tax bill. We have a question about my Rush Revere time travel adventures with Exceptional Americans children's book series. And we have a call about Obamacare and what Trump is going to do. It's like we got a good roster of Open Line Friday calls. And, you know, not a single call about Flynn. Not a single call yet about what happened out in San Francisco with the Katie Steinle jury. Man, oh man, you talk about, you think the O.J. verdict was something. This verdict out there makes the O.J. verdict look like romper room. You talk about jury nullification. You talk about a bunch of citizens banding together to say, screw you, United States. We prefer being a sanctuary city even if our citizens do get murdered. Maintaining our political independence on this is much more important than the safety of a single citizen in San Francisco. Just amazing. Now, what else we have out there? The ongoing saga of sexual harassment in the drive-by media and in the Democrat Party. It just continues. I'm sorry. It's one of these things we're not supposed to find any humor in. Since I've got these calls on these subjects, we'll wait till the calls to get into those subjects, and let me deal here with the Katie Steinle verdict. When I heard about this, I heard it out of the corner of my ear, and it didn't register at first because it was so unexpected. And when it finally registered on me, I can't begin to tell you the depths of my anger and frustration. And then I stopped. I caught myself. And I said, you shouldn't be mad. This was imminently predictable. Who are we talking about here? We're talking about the American left and the time for granting them any semblance of commonality with us when it comes to values and politics, morality, decency, right and wrong. Those days are over. They don't have much in common with us anymore. And each and every day this is borne out. So in San Francisco, we have a war on women, a different kind of war on women, a felonious, illegal immigrants war on a woman. An innocent woman is shot and killed. Her killer, an illegal alien who shot the gun, has multiple felonies, is found not guilty by reason of a jury's political insanity, and the left is good with it. The insanity in that courtroom was not the perp. The insanity is the jury. This is kind of like the Menendez jury. Remember the Menendez brothers who shot and killed their parents? And one of the women on that jury, they acquitted one of the Menendez brothers or did not get a death penalty or something. And one of the female jurors said on television after the trial, we feel so bad because the boys were not going to have their parents. And even then, the drive-by media reporter was incredulous. Well, yeah, but that's because they killed them. I know, but it's so horrible, isn't it? So sad. These two young men are going to have a tough enough life as it is, and then to be deprived of their parents. Yeah, but they killed them. I know, it's so bad. I'm not making this up. There was such a jury. So we have illegal immigrants plus sanctuary city equals justice in American liberal enclaves. What is it with the callousness regarding the abuse of and the harm to women and the left? It seems like no matter where you go in America today, if there are liberals involved, women are being harmed to one degree or another. You know, on the Matt Lauer story, you know what's now surfacing? And this was predictable, too. That everybody knew, including some of the Today Show anchors on Wednesday who were acting apoplectic and shocked and stunned, and they could barely go on. And, oh, my God, they knew. Matt Lauer's sexual proclivities were so widely known that everybody knew, and in fact, it had come to be expected inside the offices of the Today Show that nothing was ever going to be done about it because Matt Lauer was simply too important to the show. But then something happened that was beyond the pale. Anyway, sanctuary cities are now circling the wagons lawlessly around people who are not in this country illegally. I mean, there's no other way to look at this. Sanctuary cities like San Francisco are deciding to circle the wagons and protect people who are not here legally when they commit crimes. But again, see, is this really that surprising? The left, for most of my life, has been consistent in protecting criminals and reprobates, believing that the justice system is what is unfair, believing that the court system is where the real problem is, and that the guilty in this country are simply the product of poor socioeconomic circumstances brought about by an evil majority. Anyway, while all of this goes on, they call us deplorables. Ask yourself a question. Why would a city or a state, in this case, California and San Francisco, why would they knowingly put their citizens in harm's way? Well, let me provide you the answer. Because San Francisco, California are subsets of the parent organization. And the parent organization is the Democrat Party. And so the subsets or subordinates of the parent organization must always be served. So why would a city or a state knowingly put their citizens in harm's way? Because of the need for a large, frequently replenished, uneducated, low-skilled, illiterate, illegal, non-English speaking underclass. The Democrat Party has decided that that pool of people represents their future, becoming the champions of the uneducated, the low-skilled, illiterate, illegal, non-English speaking underclass people is the future of the Democrat Party. Getting them registered to vote down the road is considered by the Democrat Party to be their quickest route to political victory, to deliver votes to Democrats. It is unquestionably the fact that the parent organization, the Democrat Party, thinks it is much easier to get a larger number of votes from uneducated, low-skilled, illiterate, illegal, non-English-speaking underclass people than it is from educated, literate, tax-paying citizens. Which means that this is about power, and which means that if you lose a person here or there in the quest, then that's just the price you pay. And everything becomes politicized, including juries. Now, this verdict in San Francisco is a symptom of liberalism. And as we see, citizens are not really safe in these liberal strongholds. Guns are discouraged with onerous regulations making self-defense extremely difficult. The police are ridiculed and ordered to give space to destroy, which is what happened in Baltimore. felonious illegal immigrants are given sanctuary, which is a violation of federal law. They are treated as super citizens above and beyond the reach of the law. There's absolutely no expectation of assimilation among illegal immigrants, just an expectation that they will participate in keeping Democrats in elective power. Why give sanctuary to violent felons that are here illegally? To keep Democrat icons like Nancy Pelosi and Al Franken, John Conyers in power? They don't give a damn about women or children or the environment or the Constitution, health care, the deficit. Those are just the phony causes. They want your money. They expect obedience. They demand your vote. If a few good people get hurt in the process, well, it's a small price to pay for the greater good for the Democrat Party. Let me play for you a soundbite, audio soundbite number 19, Matt Gonzalez. Last night in San Francisco, after the announcement of the not guilty verdict in the trial of Jose Inés Garcia Zarate, which is actually not the name he goes at. He's got 2 or 3 names. This is the name fewer people are familiar with. Do you know in the news stories today about this, you can't find reference to the fact this guy's an illegal alien? You cannot find it. There's an AP story that talks about this, and not one mention that he's an illegal immigrant in it. So anyway, after the announcement of the not guilty verdict of Jose Inés Garcia Zarate for the murder of Kate Steinle, the public defender Matt Gonzalez spoke about the verdict, and this is a portion of what he said.
There are a number of people that have commented on this case in the last couple of years. The Attorney General of the United States, the President and Vice President of the United States. Let me just remind them that they are themselves under investigation by a special prosecutor in Washington, D.C., and they may themselves soon avail themselves of the presumption of innocence and beyond a reasonable doubt standard. And so I would ask them to reflect on that before they comment or disparage the result in this case.
So Mr. Gonzalez thinks he's very smart. And he's just said, well, you know what? The people in Washington are going to complain about this. They're under investigation themselves. And it won't be long before they're going to be asking for the same presumption of innocence as they seek to deny my client, Jose Inés Garcia Zarate. This is the kind of stuff that's going to make sure the wall gets built. You doubt me on that? This is the kind of thing that's going to make sure Trump gets the wall built. Using Trump as justification for an acquittal in the Kate Steinle case? And here is Francisco Ugarte. That's the other name of the illegal. I take it back. That's not, this is the public defender, Francisco Ugarte. He's talking about Jose Inés Garcia Zarate. I got the names confused out there. This is Francisco Ugarte, who is the public defender, speaking about the verdict.
This case was used as a means to foment hate, to foment division, to foment a program of mass deportation. It was used to catapult a presidency along that philosophy of hate of others. And I believe today is a vindication for the rights of immigrants. Nothing about Mr. Garcia Zarate's ethnicity, nothing about his immigration status, nothing about the fact that he is born in Mexico had any relevance as to what happened on July 1st, 2015.
What do you mean it didn't have any relevance? He'd been deported how many times, had violated the law by being here in the first place? If he hadn't been in violation of the law, this shooting either as coincidental, random, or accidental as you want to try to make it out to be, would never have happened if the guy hadn't been here. And you know what they're trying to say? This guy, he didn't come to San Francisco because he wanted Sanctuary City. No. He came to San Francisco because he wanted a job, man. Really? You think these clowns do not know that places like San Francisco are sanctuary cities? That's not why he came. He came here because he wanted a job. He didn't know a sanctuary city. No idea whatsoever. Really? So, there you have it. Okay, quick time out. We'll come back and get started in earnest on phone calls on Open Line Friday. Don't go away. And back to the phones. Keith in Sacramento, my adopted hometown. Great to have you.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
My concern is, or my thought is, I always thought that there'd be a non-guilty verdict in Sacramento on that shooting, and I feel because of his status and Trump being president, it would prove that sanctuary cities do put people at risk. So I always thought from day one he's going to be found not guilty just because of his legal status on the situation.
You really did?
Yes, from day one, because that would prove that sanctuary city has put somebody at risk, or, as a local resident at risk. That would prove it right there.
Yeah, but the details of the shooting are such that a good lawyer could persuade a jury to find not guilty here, accidental, random, ricochet, all that. But, since the verdict happened, in hindsight, I agree with you. It was clear that the people on that jury were speaking for the city of San Francisco, and the first priority was, we're not going to let you trick us into killing our sanctuary city status. We're not going to do it.
Yes, definitely. It would have shown that you're at risk with being a sanctuary city, and that would have proven it right there. And, of course, it was a non-guilty.
Okay, what happens if the perp had been a legal citizen in the same circumstances? What do you think would have happened in San Francisco?
Guilty. I truly believe it still would have been guilty at that situation. I think 100% his status of being a legal immigrant got him a not guilty verdict.
And you thought this from the get-go?
Yes. I mean, then they in the very beginning, it was Trump. Trump was trying to say they would put everybody at risk. Then they wanted to be a sanctuary city to protect everybody from Trump. They're saying, this would have proven that their thought and what they did.
I actually, like I say, when I first heard the verdict, I did a little bit of a double take, but I wasn't surprised. But I can honestly tell you that during the whole trial and leading up to this happened 2 years ago, there's a part of me that thought that the legal system is going to end up in San Francisco doing the right thing. I relied on it, and I was mistaken to do so. I thought that they'd be able to find a jury that could see through all this. I neglected to think that there would be people wanting on this jury. I mean, this is an OJ verdict for its own regional jury nullification was the OJ verdict, the jury's reasoning for what they did. And this has similar roots to it. Now, the Department of Justice, the Attorney General Jeff Sessions, has said that the feds, the DOJ, might get involved here and try to fix this somehow. But you've got double jeopardy on the part of you, the illegal alien here who couldn't be tried for the same crime again after having been found not guilty of the main aspect of it. Keith, I appreciate the